Welcome back to the channel, where we dive deep into the celebrity chaos that has everyone talking. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button because trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. We're about to unpack some seriously wild stories that will have your jaw on the floor. Selena Gomez just tied the knot with Benny Blanco in what was supposed to be an intimate, private ceremony away from prying eyes. The couple went to great lengths to keep things under wraps, setting up massive tents to block helicopters from capturing aerial shots of their special day. From what we've gathered, the wedding was absolutely stunning, filled with celebrities and overflowing with love and emotion. Guests couldn't stop gushing about how radiant Selena looked and how Benny couldn't wipe the smile off his face the entire evening. Taylor Swift naturally became one of the main attractions at the celebration, showing up with her signature entourage and security detail that looked more like a presidential motorcade. The pop superstar took the microphone during the reception to deliver what sources describe as an extended toast filled with personal anecdotes and inside jokes that had Selena laughing and crying at the same time. Travis Kelce couldn't make it to the festivities, but Taylor seemed perfectly comfortable surrounded by her trusted team. But here's where things get really interesting and honestly kind of heartbreaking. Francia Raisa, the woman who literally gave Selena one of her kidneys back in 2017 when lupus was threatening her life, didn't receive an invitation to the wedding. Let that sink in for a moment. This woman went through surgery and recovery, donated an entire organ to save her friend's life, and somehow didn't make the guest list while plenty of other celebrities were there celebrating. The friendship between Selena and Francia goes way back to 2007 when they first connected and built what seemed like an unbreakable bond. When Selena's health crisis hit its peak and she desperately needed a kidney transplant, Francia stepped up without hesitation. Fast forward to 2022, and Selena told Rolling Stone magazine that Taylor Swift was her only genuine friend in the entertainment industry, a comment that Francia apparently took very personally, given everything they'd been through together. Ray J has been making some explosive claims that have the Kardashian family scrambling to control the narrative and threatening legal action against anyone who dares to repeat his allegations. He's out here saying he's working directly with federal agents to build a criminal case against Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner, comparing the situation to the charges that brought down Diddy. According to Ray J, he's cooperating with authorities on what he calls a federal investigation that could result in serious consequences for the famous family. But here's where things get sketchy. Ray J's friends in the video seem completely disinterested in what he's saying, barely paying attention as he makes these dramatic declarations. It almost looks like they've heard him make outrageous claims before and have learned to tune him out. Ray J himself has admitted in the past to going overboard with statements and later retracting them. Kim Kardashian's legal team wasted no time responding to these allegations, sending cease and desist letters to at least one publication that reported on Ray J's claims. The letter from her attorney makes it crystal clear that no federal investigation exists, no law enforcement agency has initiated any proceedings, and they believe the matter can be resolved quickly if the content is removed immediately. They're essentially painting him as an attention seeker with an axe to grind who will say anything to stay relevant and get his name in the headlines. The David situation continues to get stranger and more disturbing with each passing day as investigators work to solve the tragedy involving Celeste. What's shocking to many people following this case is that no arrest has been made yet despite overwhelming evidence and testimony from people in David's inner circle confirming he had a relationship with a minor. The longer this investigation drags on without charges being filed, the more concerned people become that justice might never be served. Multiple people who spent time around David have come forward to tell police about Celeste's presence in his life, making it impossible to deny they had some kind of relationship. The young girl had several fake identification cards that allowed her to be brought around to various events and gatherings where people were told she was 19 years old, even though anyone looking at her could tell she was clearly much younger. But the deception goes even deeper than fake identification cards. There is apparently another person named Celeste who David used as cover for his inappropriate relationship with a minor. This older Celeste, who was in her early 20s, would go by the nickname when they were all hanging out together to avoid confusion between the two. The entire group seemed comfortable with this arrangement, crossing boundaries that should have been obvious to everyone involved. One person who was around David during this time period wrote a detailed account of their experiences, describing how they met both versions of Celeste at different times and slowly realized something wasn't right. They remembered specific incidents like a tattoo party, where an artist refused to tattoo the younger Celeste because she needed proper identification, and the girl clearly looked underage despite claims she was 19. David apparently got annoyed with the artist for following her professional policies and told the minor to go hide in another room while he live-streamed. Diddy is headed back to court for sentencing after being convicted on charges related to transporting individuals across state lines for illegal purposes. His legal team filed documents arguing that sentencing guidelines suggest he should receive somewhere between 6 and 12 months for each count, and since he's already spent over a year locked up awaiting trial, he's essentially already served more time than the recommended sentence. The defense painted a picture of transformation during his incarceration, claiming Diddy has achieved sobriety for the first time in 25 years and has been inspiring other people locked up with him through various programs he started. Prosecutors have a very different view of appropriate punishment, recommending the judge impose a sentence between 51 and 63 months based on the severity of the offenses. Several people have written letters to the judge on his behalf asking for leniency, including his current partner and Young Miami, who had a relationship with him up until his arrest. Her letter mentioned attending fancy events together and witnessing him feed homeless individuals on at least one occasion back in 2022. What's particularly surprising is that fellow inmates have also written letters supporting him and describing how he's used his time locked up to teach them valuable business skills through a program he created. Michael Jackson's estate finds itself embroiled in multiple legal battles that are draining resources and threatening to leave nothing for his children to inherit. Wade Robson and James Safechuck, who have accused the late superstar of abuse, are seeking compensation from his fortune through the court system. The estate is currently involved in 5 separate pieces of litigation that are costing enormous amounts of money to defend and resolve. There's genuine concern that the estate could be forced into bankruptcy if these cases continue piling up. Pete Davidson has been making positive changes in his life as he prepares for fatherhood and works to overcome his struggles with substance issues. He's undergone extensive laser treatments to remove many of the tattoos covering his body, including several that represent past relationships and questionable decisions. He's publicly credited his mother for being his biggest source of support throughout his journey to sobriety. His partner and their baby have become powerful motivators for him to make lasting changes and break patterns that could have destroyed his career and personal life. The Beckham family continues dealing with internal conflicts that have resulted in estrangement between certain members who used to be close. Brooklyn has spoken publicly about the situation, acknowledging that people say negative things, but insisting he has strong support from his wife. Sources familiar with the family dynamics paint a much different picture, describing a complete breakdown in communication between Brooklyn and his parents with zero contact happening between them. The couple recently held a vow renewal ceremony just 3 years after their original wedding, which struck many observers as unusual timing. What made it even more notable was that the renewal included the wife's entire extended family, but none of Brooklyn's relatives, sending a clear message about where loyalties lie. It came across less like a romantic gesture and more like a deliberate statement aimed at his parents. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this entire deep dive into all the latest celebrity chaos and drama. Your support means everything to me, and this channel wouldn't exist without viewers like you who come back week after week. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, drop a comment below letting me know which story shocked you the most, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another upload. I'll see you in the next one where we'll have even more wild stories to unpack together.